Good afternoon, viewers. Today we are joined by an author whose writing brings together storytelling through ideas and deep understanding of life. Through his work, he explores themes that makes readers connect with his words. His writing has a calm depth that stays with you even after you finished reading. But what makes his journey more interesting is the way he balances creativity with reflection, looking at the world not just as a storyteller, but also as a keen observer. Today, we will be talking to him about his writing, his inspiration, and experiences that has shaped his voice as an author. It's a pleasure to have him on the show. Viewers, please join me in welcoming Mr. Asim Chaudhary.
My
Asim
novel,
ji, welcome to the show.
copy of my book. Oh, hi. Hi, Rashmi.
Hi.
You forgot to mention the name of the book.
No, we'll do that. We'll do that. The Sergeant's Son.
Yeah,
We'll do that consequently.
the
So,
Sergeant's
uh, we'll start with a very basic question. आप थोड़ा अपने बारे में बताइएगा.
There's nothing much to talk about me, but I'm basically my background is journalism, and even before journalism, I would say I had a rather checkered career. Um, I was with the Air Force for 15 years. And after Air Force, I jumped into journalism. I had journalism. While I was in the Air Force, I was studying journalism and doing some cartooning as well. Cartooning began while I was uh, doing some doodling in my journalism classes. One of
Okay.
the girls, she suggested, "Why don't you try this?" And then that's how it started, cartooning. Um, After Air Force, I was in the I while in the Air Force itself, I had started my writing on the sly. I mean, as a airman, as a defense personnel, you can't write. So I had begun writing on a pseudonym, and yeah, it had already begun. And by the time I left, found a slot with the Indian Express Group. So my stint with the Indian Express Group lasted for about 2 years, and my romance with journalism, in a way, kind of I wouldn't say it came to an abrupt end, but when you have to churn out stories every other day, I think it becomes a little tiring. So after that was within 2 years, I found myself out of journalism, and after a little break, when I was desperately looking for work, I found one with the UN. This UN means this was the Asian and Pacific Center for Transfer of Technology.
Mhm.
Um, so this was my first stint with the UN, and here I joined as an
Okay.
editor of a magazine that they wanted to they were bringing out, but to make it more professional. So that's how my career with the UN started. Um, and I switched quite a few jobs within the UN family itself. After APCTT, I joined the UNDP project on HIV/AIDS for the
Mhm.
Asia Pacific region. Here again, my title was that of an editor, and my work to do was, among other things, was to do a lot of media relations on the issue of HIV/AIDS within the country as well as outside in the region, Asia Pacific region. So after that, now this project also came to an end within 1.5 years. After which I joined the UNHCR,
Right.
United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. This was as a public information officer,
Right.
and this lasted for over 3 years. After which, unfortunately, there was a global uh, cutting of jobs within the UN,
Right.
particularly in UNHCR. And I found my job on the block. So that's basically a career with the UN was my this. After that, I did a lot of work for WHO, for UNICEF, for UNFPA. So I've done most of my work has been with the UN after journalism.
Okay,
And
so
yeah, please.
तो आप एयरफोर्स में थे, यू नो एयरफोर्स ऑफिसर. सो हाउ डिड द थॉट
No,
ऑफ राइटिंग?
I wasn't an officer.
ओके, ओके,
I was in the ranks.
ओके, ओके. सो हाउ डिड द आइडिया ऑफ राइटिंग कम इनटू योर माइंड?
The writing, well, in school itself, there were very few people who got um, 4 or 5 marks out of 10 in class for essay writing. I was one of them. And I used to wonder कि मेरे को गलती से तो नहीं मिल रहा है. And other boys also used to kind of say that, how come? So I thought it was some mistake by the teacher. And one day the teacher, she gave me, I had got 6 out of 10.
Right.
And she gave me the book, the essay copy, and she said, where did you copy that essay from? So that was the first time that accusation at the back of my mind. I kind of I protested and I pleaded with the teacher that no, ma'am, I didn't copy it. And that is when, for the first time, at the back of my mind, I had a feeling that maybe I write well. That was the first time. So, but again, when I decided on writing a book, well, there was a precise moment again. This was when I was in the Air Force doing my training in Bangalore, Jalahali. I was with the 3 GTS, and I used to spend a lot of my time in the library. Yeah, I used to spend a lot of my time in the library, and here I read Dom Moraes' My Father's Son. Dom Moraes, writer and journalist and author, a son of Frank Moraes. So My Father's Son I read, and when I read that book, it was an easy read, and it was a simple story. That book made me kind of, I said, if I write about my life, it will be much more interesting. Because my life, indeed, where we lived in Bombay, in military camp, was a very very quaint life, I would say. But that's when I first got the feeling that I could also write. I could write, and that's when I think the seed of the book happened in my mind, that I should write a book. Yes, that was the first time. I think, yeah, that's how it happened.
Right. So after writing, then you also graduated towards journalism and cartoonism. तो वो कैसे आपने स्टार्ट किया? लाइक कहाँ से आइडिया आया कि मैं आई कैन गो इनटू कार्टूनिंग आल्सो?
Well, as I was just telling you, when I was in the Air Force, during my last years in the Air Force, I was doing my diploma in journalism from the Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan. And I happened to be one of the best students in the class. It was mostly a class of boys and girls in the early 20s or late teens or something like that. Right. And I was something like 34, 30, yeah, something like that. But I was the best student. So, best student in the sense that I used to get very good marks, whether it was for creative writing or whether it was for reporting or editing and all that. I used to get good marks. And there was this girl who, in the class, who spoke very little. She was a very quiet sort, and I used to scribble I used to make doodles of the professors. So one of them she caught me seeing that, and after seeing the work, she said, "Why don't you try cartooning?" And that's how I first started doing sketches of political figures, and then finally went into this of cartooning. Cartooning was never for me a full-fledged job. I never got a job as a cartoonist. In fact, yeah, after Air Force, I had come to Delhi on the promise of getting a cartooning job. So instead of that job never materialized. It was supposed to be with the Indian Express. Mr. Khusru was his name. I think Professor Khusru. Yeah, he was the editor of, I think, Financial Express.
Okay.
And
Okay.
he was supposed to take me in as a cartoonist for the Financial Express.
Mm-hmm.
He was very impressed with my work, with particularly one of my cartoons. Um, I'll not go into too much details, but yeah, which reminded him of another famous cartoon from England. So anyway, that job never materialized there. But I stayed with the Indian Express group itself as I joined as a senior correspondent with the Gentleman magazine, Gentleman TV and Video World. And that's how my career in writing started. And cartooning as a freelancer, I used to cartoon off and on, which was not very regular. I was, you know. And by the way, cartooning is not an easy job. Making
Yeah, it
people,
is not.
no,
It is absolutely not. Right.
making people laugh, making people laugh and being very incisive at the same time. I think it's not an easy job to be consistent. Yeah.
Right. Right.
By the way,
So,
I also had the good fortune of interviewing R.K. Lakshman.
oh, that's nice.
Yeah, that was while he was in
He's a very
Kolkata.
famous cat. Yeah.
Yeah, while he
Right.
was in Kolkata, he was doing an exhibition or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was still with the Air Force. And it was not a formal interview. I was just running after him all over the place. And yeah, but it was a nice piece. And I had done a cartoon of his to go along with the piece. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. तो एयरफोर्स में लाइक यू ट्रैवल्ड ऑल ओवर द ऑल ओवर इंडिया तो
Yeah.
आपको कौन सी ऐसी जगह लगी विच हैज रियली created a special place in your heart?
Well, my first after Bangalore, it was my first posting was Kanpur, and after Kanpur for 3 years, I went to Delhi. Delhi means the border of Delhi, Dhansa border, Dhansa radar. I was there for 3 years, and after 3 years, I got a punishment posting.
Oh, what's up?
I got it.
Okay.
I got a punishment posting all the way to what is this place? It's called Patni Top.
Hmm.
That's a hard posting. It's a snowbound area for 6 months.
Okay.
It's snowbound,
Okay.
and I think that's where I fell in love with that place, Patni
Acha.
Top. It was a very beautiful place, and well, it was a very quaint place, a small hilltop, and a very close knit family of the Air Force. It was a non-family station,
Acha.
and whoever was there was without their family. And of course, it was in the middle of all the hills. Yeah, and for 6 months, it used to be snowbound, and it gave you a lot of space to kind of just roam around and do nothing and be with nature. Yeah.
Right. Right. तो असीम जी आप यूएन में भी आपने वो किया था सर्व किया था तो हाउ हैज यूएन शेप्ड योर लाइफ हाउ इज इट इन्फ्लुएंस्ड योर लाइफ
How has UN shaped my life? Um, um, I don't know how the UN has shaped my life, but what I can say is that my journalism, which lasted just for 2 years, was really put to use in the UN.
Okay.
I have done a lot of work with the UN.
Right.
With whichever agency I have been, I've done a lot of writing, a lot of reports, a lot of brochures, a lot of articles, whether on the issue of refugees, on the issue of HIV/AIDS. I used to be among the first people who were writing on HIV/AIDS when it was a new subject. It was a relatively new subject. So it was a kind of introduction on issues relating to HIV/AIDS, stigma, this, that, and yeah.
तो जब आपने ये HIV के बारे में लिखा, तो हाउ डिड यू लाइक गो अबाउट इट? डिड यू एक्चुअली वेंट एंड मेट HIV पेशेंट्स, या
Uh,
कैसे आपने उसको,
well,
हाउ डिड यू कोरिलेट?
it's not so much directly with patients, but
ओके,
in the UN, you don't do much of field reporting. You do a lot of desk work
ओके,
reporting. Desk work reporting. There are a lot of reports from the field that you um, read, and so it's mainly. I mean, what should I say? UN's work is very like advisory to the governments. So it's not so much ground level reporting, but it's like advisory work for the government, policy making. So much of the work is at a higher level in the sense that, as I said, advisory level or policy making level kind of work, what the government should do, maybe what the people should do, how should the government respond to, how raise awareness and stuff like that kind of work.
ओके, ओके.
And of
So
course,
now,
I was also urging journalists, I was helping journalists to write stories. I was giving them background stuff. I was connecting them to the people with HIV. There were people within the UN, within the UNDP, who were actually people living with AIDS, who were also working with us. Yeah, there were such people, yes.
right.
That kind of answers my question. Yeah, apart from UN HIV/AIDS, I've done a lot of work with the WHO
Okay.
as a freelance consultant, but I've done a substantial amount of work on various diseases, starting from dengue to tropical diseases to TB. Yes, I've written an annual report on TB. Yeah, quite a bit. Yeah, on health. Yes. And writing for the UN has been satisfying in the sense that, um, yeah, it reaches out to a fair number of people, and more than that, it reaches out to a lot of policymakers and governments for writing. So, in that sense, it has been a little satisfying. Yes, there were my reports that were released by all health ministers from the region. Yeah, which was, I think, a big point. High point. Oh, by the way, I was also with the UN in two countries. One was Liberia, and the other was Sudan.
Okay.
So, yeah, so in that sense, I've worked for other governments as well, through the UN, of course.
Right. So
And
we'll come to the topic which is very close to your heart, your book, The
my book.
Sergeant's Son.
Yeah, let me show you a copy of mine. I'd forgotten about it. This is, I don't know. Can you
Okay.
see it? Is it?
Yes, yeah, I can. I can.
That's the book.
ओके, तो ये मैंने थोड़ा सा रिव्यू पढ़ा था इस बुक के बारे में, दैट इट्स मोर अबाउट द मिडिवल एज एंड वेयर अ वेरी स्ट्रिक्ट डिसिप्लिनरी ऑफिसर, हिज सन, आई थिंक
Yeah.
उसके बारे में है.
Well,
सो
it's the story of a family. It's the
या,
story of a family, a Bengali family that
हम्म,
lives in the military camp.
ओके, सो कैन यू टेल अस अबाउट द
Uh,
बुक?
well, it's basically, in a sense, it's a chronicle of the times. And at one point, I had thought of the name of the title of the book as "The Age of Innocence."
ओके,
But then I realized that "Age of Innocence" was already another book, so I couldn't use that title.
ओके,
So, well, these were simple times, and this is the story of the child. So that also is the added innocence. It's not just the innocence of the times then and the simplicity of the times. It's about simple lives then. This was a family of four, and Kalu, who is the protagonist of the novel, it's his story in a sense. He is well. It's the story of a little boy who wants to be an artist. Let's put it this way.
ओके,
And the anguish and the challenges that he comes upon. Yeah, he comes across a lot of challenges. Nobody encourage his father, doesn't encourage him at all. In fact, yeah, he's very much discouraged by his father. Often
अच्छा.
gets often gets beaten by his father. So so that's the story. And the sad part of the story is that uh, he never gets to be an artist. The book ends with the fact that he joins the defense forces like his father wanted him to.
Okay. तो
Many of
ये
many of the people have referred to the father as a monster father,
okay.
which is not true. Which is not true. Fathers in those times,
They were like that only.
yeah,
Yeah.
they were like that. Yeah, it was a different age, as I said. So, and they had to go through very hard times, bringing up 4 children, um, sending them to school, putting bread on the table. It was never easy. So that's.
तो ये बुक की इंस्पिरेशन आपको कहाँ से आई? इज इट रियल लाइफ? आई मीन इट्स फ्रॉम रियल लाइफ एक्सपीरियंसेस, और मे बी you've traveled and you've seen the world. तो कहाँ से आपको ये आइडिया आया कि you will write about this?
I think I already told you about that when I was reading that book, other book, the um, Dom Moraes' book. I told
Right,
you
right.
about my
Hmm.
father's son. When I read that, I said, "Arey, mera to, well, it's now coming to that point. This is largely taken from my life.
Yeah, I was about to ask you that. Ki, is
Yeah.
it because you are in the forces and you're a painter?
No,
So,
no, it's not because of anything else. It
right.
was just because that somehow my childhood was kind of as clear as glass for me.
Okay.
I don't
Okay.
know. My childhood memories were very clear as glass, and then um, there were so many little nuggets in life.
Hmm.
We were free range, like free range chicken hote. hain. we, we were free range children. So yeah, I think that's why that was the inspiration. Um, yeah, there was so much to tell, little nuggets, and of course, I wrote it as a novel because when I had given it to one of the possible potential publishers, the editor had said, "Why should anybody be interested to read about your book, about
Hmm.
your life? Who the hell are you?" So I kind of fictionalized the whole thing. And and I think even the a lot of work, the best of novels, draw a lot from real life. A lot of them, I am sure, they lot draw from real life.
तो ये आपने why did you feel that you want to write this book from a child's perspective? I mean, you could have also just written a book like a novel, but a child के perspective क्यों आपने इसमें choose किया?
ये जो चाइल्ड है, ये कालू जो है, कालू दी
हम्म.
प्रोटैगनिस्ट, ये
हम्म.
उसकी कहानी है. एंड
हम्म.
इट्स हाउ ही सीज द वर्ल्ड.
Okay. Okay.
It's him. It's through him that the story is told.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, his responses to his father, his responses to his mother, his
हम्म.
brother. His one of the interesting characters in the book is Bodda. Bodda is the oldest brother.
Okay. Yeah. What the yeah.
Yeah, जो कि उसके पैसे भी चुरा लेता है.
अच्छा. I'll definitely read the book. तो इस बुक का आपका स्टेट्समैन में आई थिंक बहुत रिव्यू भी आया है अभी रिसेंटली. तो हाउ डिड यू फील लाइक द बुक वाज वाइडली रेड बाय पीपल एंड इट्स अक्लेम्ड रिव्यूज एंड ऑल? तो आपको कैसा लग रहा है मतलब?
ऐसा तो बहुत अच्छा लगा. The reviews were very good. In fact, yes,
ओके.
I'm very happy with the reviews. Uh, but what I am disappointed with is the sales.
ओके.
I'm not very sure how many copies have sold, but it hasn't. Uh, sold as much as I would have expected it to. And the sad part is that writing a good book is not enough. I think you have to work on marketing and stuff like that.
Definitely, definitely.
That's a very, very sad part of
I know.
being a writer. Writers normally wouldn't hate to concern themselves with all these mundane things, but apparently you have to do that. Promoting your book, you have to learn to do that. And well, the problem is with publishers is that I think they love to play with safe names. They love to play with big names. They're not very willing to invest in people who are new or unknown.
Mm.
But all said and done, I am grateful to Rupa for having published it. Yeah, I'm grateful, of course. But perhaps they could have done better with the sales.
Okay.
Perhaps they could have.
तो आपको कितना कितना टाइम लगा ये बुक लिखने में एंड व्हाइल यू वर राइटिंग ऑब्वियसली मतलब आप इतनी डेप्थ में जा रहे हो एक बच्चे के एक्सपीरियंसेस शेयर कर रहे हो सो हाउ आई मीन हाउ वाज इट इमोशनली टैक्सिंग फॉर यू वाज इट
Well, it was a kind of catharsis, I would say. Catharsis in a sense, it was the outlet of for all the things that the child went through in his childhood. So it was in a sense catharsis. What is the word for catharsis? Catharsis means he could give out his pent up feelings, the anguish, the happiness, whatever. He could relive all that. So I wouldn't say it was difficult, but well, yeah, it was a outlet. It was an outlet for all his, yeah.
Okay.
And of course, there are so many. You don't have to, in a 300-page book, 250-page book, you can't tell everything.
राइट
Yeah, you can't tell.
तो जब बुक पब्लिश होके आई आपको जब पहली कॉपी आपके हाथ में आई व्हाट वाज योर फीलिंग अबाउट इट कैन यू शेयर दैट विद अस
I think it's something like a mother feels when her child is given in
born
her
yeah
hands for the
yeah
first time.
right I
Uh,
can relate to that feeling because I'm also an author so I can relate to it बहुत अच्छा लगता है
yeah, so that was, yeah, top of the world, you feel. Yeah, and for the first time, I think every first feeling is different, you know. When the second or third book will come out, it might not be quite the same.
ओके तो आप के राइटिंग जर्नी में who's been the biggest supporter of your life
Biggest supporter of my life in my writing. Well, my wife used to suffer me in the sense that
I understand
yeah, I used to spend a lot of time. Well, I'm not a very dedicated person. ऐसा नहीं कि मैं घंटों घंटों.
okay
I'm a very carefree person. Nothing can tie me down. So even
free
this
bird
book never tied me down really. It was only in bits and pieces that I was doing it.
right
I have no discipline in my life. So, so but yes, my wife kind of, yeah, she patiently, not only she suffered my long hours of work, she also was one of my first reviewer.
yeah
She read it and she liked it, and I think that was a plus point. Yes, my wife, Sangeeta.
okay तो ये तो हो गया साजिन सन एंड वाइल राइटिंग द बुक बहुत बार होता है ना राइटर्स ब्लॉक तो
Hmm.
कभी आपको वो आया कि डिड यू एवर फील कि अच्छा नहीं मैं नहीं लिख पाऊंगा या अच्छा अभी रहने देता हूँ सो डिड यू एवर फील समथिंग लाइक दैट
वेल, राइटर्स ब्लॉक आजकल होता है, तब नहीं होता था
ओके
मुझे.
ओके
तब नहीं होता था. एंड आई एम अ पर्सन हु कैन राइट with felicity. It flows when I sit down to write. And yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, it can flow. I don't come up with blocks. Well, there must be periods when you don't feel like writing, yes.
Mhm.
And there are days when you write 5 to 10 pages in a go. So, well, that's that. And by the way, there is one person in my book also, I've thanked him. And perhaps he's one of the reasons I wrote the book. It was my boss when I was working when I was working with the UNDP.
Mhm.
I had an English boss, Mr. Peter Godwin.
Okay.
So, and that was the first time I had a laptop to myself in the office.
Okay.
Those days, laptops were not very common, You had just the PC and whatever, having a
Mhm.
laptop. So I had Mr. Peter was a good friend also. He was my boss, but he was also a good friend. Uh,
Mhm.
so one day I told Peter, Peter got to know that I'm writing a book.
Okay.
I am writing or interested to write now. So, and one day I asked him, Peter, can I take the laptop home? And he happily agreed to that.
That's so sweet.
So that laptop, had it not been for that laptop, I
Mm.
don't know if I could have ever written a book with my that. Yeah, it was the laptop that. So thanks to Peter. And
Good to
one
have
of
such
one,
people.
one of his conditions was that you have to write about me,
That's a very
which
small condition, yeah.
uh,
तो आपने असीम जी ट्रैवलॉग्स भी आई थिंक लिखे हैं सो व्हाट डू द रीडर्स और आई थिंक दे आर अपकमिंग सो व्हाट डू द रीडर्स एक्सपेक्ट आउट ऑफ दोस ट्रैवलॉग्स
well, I have written a lot of travel articles before,
ओके
and at one point in time, uh, when I was in Liberia,
हम्म
my chief of communications, um, she had once suggested to me that you must become a travel writer because there was this little place which everybody neglected, a small tiny place in Liberia, a small little seaside town. I don't even remember the name. I'd written an article about that place,
ओके
and she found it very fascinating. Uh, and I think that I have that quality to even the most ordinary of places. I can make them very likable and very happening with my writing. Yes, I have that eye for travel writing, I think. Yeah. And my next writing, by the way, the travelogue that you're talking about, this
हम्म
this is about a travel that I had done,
ओके
undertaken. This was from uh, from Kochi to Goa
हम्म
with a friend.
ओके
So this is well, you can call it a novel, you can call it a travelogue. It's basically about that trip. It's about the falling out of two friends also
हाँ
during the trip, and then how I go solo on that trip.
ओके
So yeah, after Goa, I go solo. So it's an interesting book. I'm waiting for a publisher to pick it up.
ओके
Yeah, again going for the publishers and begging with them and all that, selling myself to them. That's the difficult part.
दैट्स एक्चुअली डिफिकल्ट आई हैव गॉन थ्रू दैट सो दैट्स आई कैन अंडरस्टैंड एंड आई कैन रिलेट टू इट
Yeah.
तो एक बात बताइए लाइक बिटवीन राइटिंग एंड पेंटिंग व्हाट आई मीन व्हाट गिव्स यू मोर पीस एंड
What gives me more? Well, writing. Maybe painting is my first love.
ओके
Maybe painting is my first love. Yes. Uh, and should I show you some of my work?
yes definitely
Well, I'll start with some of the small things here. I don't know if it's.
no yeah I can see it it's
You
very
can see.
nice yeah.
This is a cup. Some flowers were there, and this is
It's a bottle
a bottle.
yeah
Johnny Walker.
yeah I was about to say that
This
these are
is
landscapes right
this is a little forest in somewhere near, I don't know, where was this? Near Ranikhet.
Ranikhet is a beautiful place.
This is a very recent work. I was in GB.
Acha.
I was in
I think
GB.
that's the highest in the world. GB?
No, GB, GB.
हाँ,
GB
GB,
is,
mountain range.
yeah,
सबसे
yeah.
ऊंचा है, बहुत सबसे highest है, I think.
कहाँ पे? नहीं, this is somewhere near Kulu, between
Okay,
Kulu and what, Jalori Pass.
okay,
GB's is in between the mountains.
okay.
So I was just roaming around the shop having chai,
Mhm.
and when I suddenly realized that my neighborhood man, he had a canvas, this canvas,
Mhm.
and he had some paint with him. He had a painting shop.
अच्छा,
So he gave me this canvas, and I started painting. Better.
okay.
So let me show you something bigger. Is the forest.
Oh, that's
This
beautiful. That's very nice.
this is
Very pretty.
off Corbett.
Jim Corbett,
Yeah, Jim Corbett. Of Jim Corbett. People free basically.
right.
Uh, and we were recently traveling to a place called. Uh, this is the port. This is what fort was that? Um, I forget the name of the place. This one was recently done.
Acha, this is your latest work?
Yeah, this is a landscape from. Can you see it?
Yeah, I can see it. It's very, very beautiful. जी.
This was a landscape from Sundarnagar.
Okay, right.
Sundarnagar, the last one.
Okay.
Uh,
तो जब आप पेंटिंग्स करते हैं,
yeah.
लैंडस्केप्स करते हैं, what exactly do you have in mind while painting landscapes? What do you
What,
see? मतलब
what do
मुझे
I
ये
see?
करना है, एग्जैक्ट आइडिया क्या होता है कि
Well, it all depends on. Well, you see around, look around. When you look around, there are certain things that attract you.
right.
There are so many frames around, but there are certain things that appeal to you, inspire you. Now look at that painting, that one.
Hmm.
Let me show you.
ये भी this is very pretty, बहुत ही सुंदर है.
Well, there's nothing striking about the landscape.
Hmm.
But then when the light falls on the trees, it makes it a little magical. So that perhaps was the inspiration here. I'm a nature lover, a huge nature lover. And I think trees inspire me a lot, and landscapes inspire me a lot. Yeah, landscapes, buildings.
Okay, so आपने इतना ट्रैवल किया है. How has travel changed your, has it changed your perception about life and people? Do you look at it differently? उसके बारे में थोड़ा आप बताइएगा.
Yes. Travel definitely, yes. Travel is for me it's a kind of a elixir.
Right.
Matlab, travel charges me up when I'm down. All I need is some traveling around. Traveling around,
It's a stress buster.
stress buster. Yeah, I mean yes. Travel kind of and travel apart from the stress busting part, it connects you to. Well, I live in a society where 100 other people live.
Right.
I'm barely connected with them in the urban world. But when I go out, there are places where I make friends so easily. I mean, and that holds good for my travel outside the country. With the UN, I had this opportunity of befriending so many people from different countries, and people from that particular Liberia. I used to tell people in Liberia and in Ghana, I used to travel to the neighboring countries, I used to tell them that I have more friends here than I have in India. So travel not only widens your vision, it does widen your vision. You learn to see the world from a different perspective. You learn to respect people. You learn to respect cultures. Well, some people don't learn even after traveling. That's a different story. But yeah, I think yes, travel has its own. Yeah, it gives you so much. I remember as a child, not as a child. I was in the Air Force. Um, I used to get a lot of punishments, by the way, in the Air Force. it's a matter of it's a matter of surprise that I survived 15 years. Um, yeah, when I was in Kanpur, I was given a punishment, TD, temporary duty, sending me
Temporary.
to Nagpur, from Kanpur to Nagpur. So my supervisors thought that they had done a good job giving me a punishment, but they never quite realized that it kind of liberated me. That trip to Nagpur was so liberating for me. I was going here, I was going there. I remember writing to my father or to my brother that travel is like change of place is like change of heart. I remember writing that letter to my brother where I said these lines: change of place is like change of heart. So for me, travel liberates me. I explore places. And you have to learn to love place. I also remember once, traveling by train, passing through barren countryside, and I was aghast at the beauty of the barren countryside. And there was this person telling me, "Isme aapko kya sundar lag raha hai?" So it's not everybody who has the same pair of eyes. You need to have eyes to appreciate beauty, and
Yes, beauty lies in the eyes of beholder.
and the beauty doesn't lie just in beautiful. It lies in the rocks. It lies in the sand. It
बिल्कुल.
lies everywhere.
Right, right.
It lies everywhere. You have to
So,
meet.
okay, so you're a nature lover, right? So, how does spending so much time in nature, how does that affect your writing?
Uh, how does that affect my? Um, well, my childhood also was spent in the Sergeant's Son. The book is about life in the military camp,
Hmm.
and it's a wonderful little place with trees and little pathways and fun here, fun there, and all that. And well, Kushwant Singh was one of my first. What should I say? I had given him the manuscript, and Kushwant's one of his suggestions to me was that I must cut down on the descriptions in the book.
Acha.
Which I did. In fact, it was a little more descriptive earlier. And one of the reasons for descriptions is, as a child, when I was doing my senior Cambridge, we had this Thomas Hardy book called Far from the Madding Crowd. And he was very descriptive in his writings. Writing a simple tavern or a simple, even a mug. So this, I think part of it I got from there. This description, yes.
Okay. So, आपकी book has been endorsed by Shashi Tharoor. I mean, the literary icon. कैसा लगा आपको जब उन्होंने when he endorsed your book for you?
कैसा लगा हम
मतलब I तो would be flying in the air.
No, well, Shashi also happens to be colleague in a sense.
अच्छा.
Colleague in a sense in that, well, he is in my note to the author, I have mentioned that. My manuscript, 2 chapters of my manuscript, मैंने शशि थरूर से first. When I was with UNHCR, Shashi had come down to India with Kofi Annan.
Achha.
Kofi Annan was the Secretary General. So Shashi Tharoor was an assistant to him.
Okay.
Shashi and my boss, Irene Khan, were good friends. So when he had come to the office, UNHCR office, I had just kind of forced it on him, this envelope, saying that please take a look. And then 1, 2, 3 महीने हो गए और कुछ नहीं आया, then I said, forget it, कुछ नहीं होगा. But after a few months, it actually came back to me, the manuscript, with a little note from Shashi.
Wow.
Which said that he was very impressed. And, well, it was in the first person. And he said, are you sure you want to write it in the first person? So a lot of encouragement came from Shashi.
Okay.
Shashi. And of course, I'm grateful to him. But I'm also angry with Shashi these days because he's been hobnobbing with the BJP.
Okay.
That's a
So
difference.
एक बात बताइए, like आपने Sergeant Sun लिखी है. So now, what is the topic you want to write next? Is it about something related to nature
No. Well, I don't. I'm basically a novelist in a sense.
Okay.
I will not be writing on issues. I write articles on issues, but not a book or something like that. I do have no such plans until it's a historical novel. My next book, the Sergeant Sun ka iska sequel.
Achha.
The sequel is ready for a long time. It's just that I have not pushed it with the publishers so far. And even if I have pushed it, I have not got positive responses yet. So I have to work on that issue. The sequel is about life in the Air Force.
Okay.
And well, it's you'll find it. It's not about flying or it's not about technical aspects of the Air Force, but Kalu's life in the Air Force.
Achha. Okay.
Yeah, how he nearly becomes an officer and how he finally becomes a journalist. So that's that. And that apart, I have a book of short stories also.
Achha.
Which is again, in fact, 3 of my things are, and another travelogue on Bastar, I'd written, yes, a travel booklet on Bastar. This was an assignment I had done for the government of Chhattisgarh, but so it was supposed to be a book, but again, getting something out of the government is and IAS officers very difficult. So it's written, but it was never got published. Okay.
So, आपकी जो paintings है, do you just do it for yourself, or you plan to get that also commercialized?
Well, yeah, of course. How much can you do for yourself?
Right.
How much? So after a certain point, you want to sell them off. But there are people who have to pay you. I don't think, unless you're. That's the whole problem. Unless you're famous, you don't become a great writer. Unless you're famous, you don't become a great painter. You have to sell yourself everywhere. So, and if I were to do something ulta pulta and all, modern art and all that, that's what sells. These kind of things, they don't sell. This is I don't know. You have to do it differently. But yes, of course, I'm looking for sellers. I'm looking for a solo exhibition. Yeah.
Okay. So, as a wrap-up question, I would want you to give a message for the viewers and something for the Zena family.
Well, message for the viewers, अगर आप लेखक बनना चाहते हो,
जी.
I will tell people, desist from that temptation. And if you want to choose writing as a profession, forget about it. Unless out of it's become a very, very crowded field now, writing. Every Tom, Dick, Harry is writing. Out of 100 works, how many of them are actually worth reading? I don't know. And then publishers have a tough time sifting through manuscripts. Yeah, but for your own satisfaction, if something really compels you to write it. And perhaps if you think you don't have the ability to write, ask somebody like me who can write to do the writing part. But yes, there are and I'm sure a whole lot of people have stories inside them.
Right.
Every person virtually has a book inside him. But it's the ability to kind of relate all that. Not everybody can do it. I know people who've got self-published, but again, it's good for your ego. It's good when you give it to people and say that this is my book. But if you're looking for fame, if you're looking for money, keep your fingers crossed. Don't. This is not a profession where people can survive, except for a few, of course. Success comes for the lucky few, very lucky few. I wouldn't say they are the best of writers, but they've been lucky. That's about it, yes. And well, if the sequel comes out, if other books comes out, do read them. One thing I can assure my readers is that you'll find them interesting. My books are not dull.
Definitely.
That's about it.
And something about your thoughts about Zena family.
About Zena family, I've been a part of the Zena family for a long time.
Right.
What's his name? क्या नाम है उनका?
Rajiv ji.
Rajiv Anand. He keeps cursing me because I don't spare much time with the family. But I've been an old hand with Zena, and I wish them well. I wish I could do a little more for the Zena family. And I wish this interview goes a little beyond the Zena family, to the other world, beyond the Zena world. And I wish to thank you. I wish to thank Zena family and thank you in particular for taking the trouble of interviewing me.
No, it was not at all a trouble. I loved listening to you.
No, it's a.
So it was great having you on the show, Aseem ji. And we will wait for your sequel so that we can have another session of conversation, which you will talk about your next book, the sequel.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so till then, take care and wish you all the best.
Hope that happens soon.
Yeah, fingers crossed. So wishing you all the best for your future and lovely connecting with you.
Thanks so much. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.